Hey guys, welcome back to the Southern Rustic. Thank you so much for being here. If you are new, hi, my name is Sam and welcome. I'm so glad to have you. So in today's video, we're going to be making some creamy cheesy macaroni and cheese. It is so easy, very few ingredients, and it's delicious. I make this a lot, especially around the holidays. I make a double batch and it goes pretty quickly. I don't know too many people that doesn't like macaroni and cheese, to be honest with you. So anyways, I've got all the ingredients set out here ready to go. I've got a large pot of water coming to a boil over medium-low heat. I've got another saucepan back here, and that is for us to mix the cheesy portion of the dish, and then we'll kind of combine them together and then we're ready to go. I'll kind of walk you through everything, and yeah, so let's go over all of the ingredients and we'll get started. Okay guys, this is all of the ingredients, very simple, very easy. I've got some butter back here, I've got some elbow macaroni, I've got some flour, cheese, Dijon mustard, an egg, some milk, salt and pepper, and a little bit of nutmeg, which is optional. I always add it because I think it gives it just a little bit more flavor. So I've got that, and I think we're good to go. So we're going to go ahead and move on over to the stove and we'll get this going. Okay guys, so my water has come up to a boil, and I've gone ahead and salted it as well as the stove, but that's okay. So I'm just going to go ahead and add in all of my pasta noodles, and we're just going to give that a stir, and we're going to just let this cook until it gets al dente. There's like a little slight bite in the center of the pasta, and yeah, we're just going to let that hang out, and we're going to go ahead and make our cheese sauce. Okay guys, so I've got my butter here. I've got a half a stick of butter, and I've got it over medium-low heat. My pasta is still cooking over here. It's got a few more minutes to go, and then we'll drain that and get that ready. In the meantime, we're going to make our cheese sauce. So I'm just giving my pasta a little stir. To my butter, I'm going to go ahead and add some salt. I like to add the salt and pepper now, so that way I don't add as much later. Okay, you can add as much or as little as you want. So I'm just going to give that a stir, let that salt melt in there. And then we're just going to go ahead and add in our flour. And that right in there, and let that mix, and we're going to cook this for about a minute just to get that raw flour taste out of that flour. And what the flour is going to do is just help thicken the sauce and make it nice and creamy. I'm going to turn my heat up just a little bit. To help that flour cook a little bit faster. And try to keep an eye on my pasta here to keep it from sticking to the bottom of my pan. Okay. Now what we're going to do is slowly add in our milk. Now I heated this up slightly in the microwave because I don't want it completely cold when it goes into the saucepan, because then it will just not allow the flour to fully dissolve. But if you ain't got the time to fiddle with heating up milk in the microwave, that's fine. Just go ahead and add it in there. Just make sure you stir it a little bit more. I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of that in there. And make a mess on the stove, but that's fine. We'll get that cleaned up. And we're just going to cook this until it gets thickened. It shouldn't take it that long at all. So while that thickens, I'm just going to keep an eye on my pasta here, and then I'll meet you back in just a second and we'll add the rest of the ingredients. Okay guys, so my sauce has thickened up, and what we're going to do now is add just a little bit of nutmeg, maybe 1/4 teaspoon, not much at all because nutmeg is very strong, and you want the nutmeg to be in the background of the sauce just to give it a little bit of more flavor. And I've got my Dijon mustard here. I'm just going to add that in there. Get all of that in there. Get this off my little spoon here. Okay, and then we're just going to mix this until all of that is completely dissolved in there. And I turned my heat back down to low. And I've been keeping an eye on my pasta noodles. They're not quite done yet. So we're going to let those cook for a few more minutes. In the meantime, we're going to add our cheese. Now we've got about 10 ounces of cheese here. I'm going to add about just under 3/4 of this to the sauce, a little bit at a time, if I can manage to get it to the saucepan without spilling it everywhere. So I'm just going to sprinkle that in very slowly, give it a stir, let that melt in the sauce, and then add a little bit more. Give it a stir, and I'm just going to do this until all of the cheese is in there. And then we're going to reserve some for the top because we are going to bake this. You don't have to. You can just add all of the cheese in here and just call it a day. I've done that plenty of times when I didn't have time, but I didn't add the egg. Today I'm going to show you how I make it for Thanksgiving and Christmas. We're going to bake it. So let's get some more cheese in there. I am making a mess. That's fine. So we're just going to go ahead and mix all this together, make sure it's all well combined. I'm going to get out a baking dish and get that oiled up, and then I will meet you right back here, and then we will temper the egg, put this in the dish, pop it in the oven, and we will let that cook for about 10 to 15 minutes, and we'll be ready to eat. Okay, so I went ahead and tasted this. You want to taste this before you add the egg. I just added a little bit more salt. The pepper is fine. So now all we're going to do is temper our eggs. And all you're going to do to temper eggs is take a little bit of the mixture and whisk it slowly into the egg. And the egg is going to come up to the temperature of the cheese mixture, so that way it doesn't curdle the egg. And you want to add 2 to 3 ladlefuls, so that way it's at the perfect temperature and it doesn't scramble the egg. So just add that slowly in there. And this egg is also going to help thicken the sauce as it bakes. And I've already went ahead and drained my pasta it's done. It's sitting over there, chilling out, waiting for me. Alright, that looks pretty good. So now all we're going to do is add this back to our pot here. And mix that in very, very well. Get all of that in there. It's a few steps to make macaroni and cheese, but it's not really that hard at all. Very, very easy. Okay. So now that all of that is mixed in there, I think that's pretty good. I'm going to bring my pot, bring my bigger pot over here and just put the noodles in here without trying to tear up the kitchen. I hate when you're trying to be quiet and then that's when you make the most noise ever. Don't understand it. Alright, so I've got my noodles in there and we're going to go ahead and pour in this cheese mixture into our noodles and just give this a mix. Now I like my macaroni and cheese kind of, I don't know, I don't guess you would call it soupy, but creamy rather, because the noodles are going to soak up some of that moisture from that sauce, and that is all nice and combined. Like I said, it's soupy right now, but the noodles are going to soak up some of that sauce. And I don't like very, very thick macaroni and cheese. So, I am going to get my pot here. And we are going to try to add all of this in here without making a mess. Now, I halved my recipe. I will leave the half measurements and the original measurements on my blog when I put up the recipe. So if you want to double it, you can. Okay. Now that's all in there. Kind of spread those noodles out just a little bit so they're not all on one side. Okay, and I'm just going to add the remaining cheese on top. So that can melt and get cheesy in the oven. You can add more cheese than this if you want. Really up to you. I'm just going to add what's left. My oven is ready, so I'm going to pop this in the oven for about 15 minutes or so, just until the cheese on top is melted and the macaroni and cheese is nice and bubbly. So I will show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay guys, this is what it looks like right when it's out of the oven. As you can tell, it's still quite bubbly. So I'm going to let this sit for about 10 minutes. This baked in the oven for about 20 minutes, just until the top was melted, the cheese was melted, and it was bubbly. Just enough to cook that egg in there. So I'm just going to let this sit for about 10 minutes, and then we'll be ready to go. Okay guys, so I went ahead and tasted this and it tastes absolutely delicious. And look how creamy that is. Oh, I can't wait to dig in. Alright guys, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave. And don't forget to turn on that notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I upload new videos. And as usual, if you want this recipe, you can click the link down in the description box for my blog. It'll take you right to my website. You can get the recipe there or any of my other recipes. Also have it pinned in the comment section. So if you can't find it in the description box, always look in the comment section. I always have it pinned there. So yeah, you guys, we're going to go enjoy dinner and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.